fellow Nerdikins, welcome back to another episode of That's So Nerdy, and I have yet another deck profile for you. Today we have one I'm actually, I was very questionable in the beginning, but now that I've built the deck, I've actually realized it's a lot of fun to play with. And that's going to be Turles. He's got a permanent ability that if a Turles Crusher Core card is in your battle area, would be placed in your drop area by one of your skills, it's sent to its owner's warp instead. And then when you place this card in your leader area, place up to one of the Tree of Might from your deck in your opponent's battle area. And I'll show you what card that is here in just a moment. Second auto ability that when this card attacks, add up to one card from your life to your hand, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add one Turles Crusher Core card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then when you're at 4 or less life, or your opponent has 3 or more life face up, you may draw one card, switch up to one energy to active mode, and flip this card over. And when this leader awakens, he becomes Turles Fiendish Force. Same permanent ability that cards go to their warp area instead of the drop if sent there by skills. When this card deals damage, you choose the card your opponent loses from their life. So that can be very helpful, especially if you're attacking with critical. You get to choose which card they're forced to discard. And then when this card attacks, you get to draw a card, and it's got an activate main of once per turn. You choose one card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. Add one fruit of the Tree of Might from your drop area to your hand. So I will also show you what that card is momentarily. So first, we're going to talk about the Tree of Might. That's going to be our field card. And you get to start the game with this in your opponent's battle area. So that's one thing that's a little different than most field cards, that you start with them on the battlefield. They normally start in your battle area. But considering how the Tree of Might is taking energy from your enemies, or at least that's the lore in the movie, then it totally makes sense. This has a permanent ability that while in a battle area, this card can't be placed in drop areas by your skills. Reduce the combo cost of all Turles Crusher Core cards in opponent's hand and battle area by 1. So that's why it gets played in your opponent's battle area. It makes it so all your combo cards cost 1 less. And that's a very strong tool in this deck specifically. It's got an auto ability that if all your opponent's energy is mono green, if this card is in your battle area at the start of your main phase, choose one card in your life and flip it face up. If you do, your opponent adds up to one fruit of the Tree of Might from their deck to their hand, then shuffles their deck if they look through it. Boom. So that's another way to get the fruit of the Tree of Might cycled through. It's a very essential card for this deck and for this engine. And then a second activate main that if your leader is a Turles Crusher Core card, place this card in your opponent's area in active mode. So if your opponent is somehow able to destroy this field card by playing their own field card, because that's actually the only way that they can do it, there's no way that this card can be destroyed by skills, I believe is what that says. Yeah, because all my energy is mono green, I think. No, I'm mistaken about that. I apologize. But it's oh yeah, right here. While in a battle area, this card can't be placed in drop areas by your skills. Duh, it says it right there, first line. Alright, and we're running 3 copies of that card, mainly because you get to start with 1 on the board, and if for whatever reason they get to destroy that by playing another one of their field cards, then you're able to possibly be able to bring another one back out onto the field. Oh, I apologize about that. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about that fruit of the Tree of Might. Now that's a 1-drop. Activate battle if your leader is a Turles Crusher Core card. All your energy is mono green, and you flip one face up card in your opponent's life face down. You choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards. It gets plus 20,000 power for the battle. And if the chosen card's character name includes Turles, it also gains double strike. So that is crazy powerful, because not only is it giving whatever card you use this on an additional 20,000 power, but if there's Turles in the character name, bam, it also gains double strike. And another reason why this is so awesome is your field card makes it so you can search these out from your deck, and then your leader makes it so if you discard a card, you get to bring it back from your drop area once per turn. So that is awesome. So if you don't want to have to mill through your deck to try and find it, you could just bring it back from your drop area. Instead, make things a little bit easier on you. And it is a mandatory to run 4 copies of that card in this deck. I don't care what other engine you're running, it is mandatory to run 4 copies of that card with this deck. Next, let's move on to our Unisons. We're going to start with 2 copies of Dark Broly Overwhelming Evil. It's a 3-drop, which is a little spendy for your lower cost Unison, but it's an amazing Unison to have on your set of the field. It's got double strike and an auto of once per turn. When a marker is removed from this card by a skill, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and discards it. So if you're playing against any deck that makes it so you can remove markers from your opponent's Unison, this just makes it so they have to discard it at least once per turn if they're continuously doing that. If you add 2 markers to this card, it's got an activate main that if you may choose 1 card from your hand and discard it. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand, discards it, then chooses 1 of their battle cards and KOs it. So that's awesome because it helps you whittle down your opponent's hand size, and it also helps you keep their board in check. And then it's got a second activate main if you don't add or subtract any markers. If your leader is green, choose up to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. Boom. Awesome Unison, and I just love the artwork on this one too. It's an amazing Unison. Another amazing Unison is the second one that we're running. I don't typically run 2 Unisons in a deck, but I feel like it's kind of appropriate in this deck. But the second Unison we're running is Vegeta Resolute Agent of Destruction. This one costs 4 to play, but it's got double strike critical, and then when you play this card, you choose 1 card in your hand and discard it, and you KO all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. That's amazing. Board wipe as soon as it gets played. If you add a marker, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn, so it becomes a 25,000 power double strike critical. And then if you remove 5 markers, if your leader is an evil wizard card or all your energy is mono green, boom, we meet that requirement. Choose 3 cards in your opponent's hand and discard them. So not only are you keeping your opponent's hand size in check, but you're also hitting them for double strike crit, board wiping when he comes into play. Amazing Unison. Any mono green deck, I would highly recommend always running at least 2 copies of that card. Alright, so now let's get into the actual engine of the deck. We're going to start with Lakasei, Invader of Earth. It's got unique in auto ability. If your leader card is a Turles Crusher Core card and this card is used in a combo from your deck or hand, when this card would be placed in its owner's drop area from the combo area, you may place it in its in play in rest mode instead. So boom, combo with this card. I know it says that it's got 1 combo cost, but because of the Tree of Might and your opponent's battle area, it's actually a free comboer. So you drop him for 3,000 and he gets played in your battle area, and then when you play him, you get to search out the next card we're going to be looking at. We're running 4 copies of this card. But when you play him, you get to look, you get to search out from your deck this card. And we're running 4 copies of this card as well. Raisin, Invader of Earth. This one's got unique and blocker, and it's got the same ability as the Lakasei. That if you combo with this card from your hand, from your deck of your hand, from your deck of your hand, at the end of the combat, it gets played in rest mode instead of going to your drop area. And then you get to search out a Lakasei if when this card is played, play up to 1 green Lakasei. Yeah. So yeah, you get to search out the other card. And then that one's got blockers, so that's also very helpful. Next card we're going to be looking at, we're running Daiz, Invader of Earth, and we're running 3 of these. It's got the same auto ability that when you combo with it, it gets played to the battlefield in rest mode. But when this one gets played, you look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 Turles Crusher card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So like I said, that's we're running 3 copies of that card just because I needed, I didn't really need to, but I wanted to make a little bit of room. And with how well this deck has been synergizing together, I haven't really needed to search out certain cards. I've been pretty fortunate on how this plays out each and every time that I've used it. Next card we're running is our super combo. Pretty basic super combo. Cacao, Invader of Earth. If your leader is green and your life is a 4 or less, when you use this card in a combo, draw a card. Boom. Awesome. It's a Turles Crusher card, just like all the other battle cards in this deck. So any of the battle cards that you're seeing can actually be searched out by the Daiz that you saw. And then next card we're running, of course, that being the super combo, we're running 4 of those. Next card we're running is Turles Crusher Core Commander. It's got 15,000 power, unique and deflect, auto, that you choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. When this card is played, draw 2 cards, and this card gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Flip up to 1 card in your opponent's life face up. And then activate battle, you pay 1 green. If you have 2 or more Turles Crusher Core cards in your combo area, play this card from your hand. So instead of having to pay for the 3, you pay 1 by having 2 of your battle cards in the combo area. And we're running 4 copies of that card. So if you haven't noticed, most of what the dynamic behind this deck is, it's being able to play your battle cards to the field with little to no cost to you. So you're able to swarm the field and just kind of overpower your opponent with double strike. Next card we're also running 4 copies of this, and that's Amond, Invader of the Earth. It's got unique, same combo ability, activate main, that if you pay a green, send this card to its owner's warp, then choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or more and KO it. So this is really helpful when your opponent gets out those really big boss monsters and he's just trying to swing at you and trying to really just kill you for an insane amount of damage, because he's getting those evolution cards or fusion cards or whatever the cards are that are out there. Boom, that one KOs. If you sack it, you KO a 5 or more. So that's going to keep your opponent's really big power swings in check, hopefully. And like I said, we're running 4 copies of that card. Next card we're running is Turles Cosmic Rogue. This one, oh, come on. There we go. It's got unique, deflect, and critical. Permanent, if you have 3 or more Turles Crusher core cards in your battle area and 3 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So it becomes a 2-drop instead of a 4-drop, which is awesome. And then permanent, that during your turn, all your Turles Crusher core cards in your battle area get an additional 10,000 power. So that's awesome. Being able to give all your cards a boost for him just being there, amazing, amazing ability. And then auto, when this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So this card right here is pretty much going to be like the meat and potatoes of this deck. This is going to be what we want to get out there to start our game-ending swings right here, because it's going to be it has unique and deflect, so it can't be countered as it's coming into play. And then it's also got critical, so you play tree the Fruit of the Tree of Might, this card right here. Play this card on here. Since this has Turles in its character name, it gets, and not only does it get 10,000 power for its permanent ability, but it gets an additional 20,000 power for its Fruit of the Tree of Might. Then it gets double strike critical, so it's getting an additional 30,000, so it becomes a 45,000 double strike critical. Bam. And then you're going to start with him. And next, and like I said, we're running 4 copies of that card. Next card we're running is Turles Parasite. It's got 20,000 blocker, and when this card activates its blocker skill or is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, your opponent may choose one card in their hand and discard it. If they don't, draw one card and then flip up to one card in your opponent's life face up. So that's just more about the control of your opponent and being able to determine which life that they have to lose when you attack them with your leader. And it's just more control. And as you saw, he has blocker. And then we're running 4 copies of that card. Last battle card that we're running is Turles Rampage. It's got critical and double strike. EX evolve for 2 energy on top of a Turles Sinnoh with 4 cost, which is the Dark Parasite that we just saw. And when a card evolves into this card, switch this card to active mode, then your opponent chooses one card in their hand and sends it to their warp. Flip up to 2 cards in your opponent's life face up. Auto once per turn when this card attacks, combo with up to 1 green battle card from your drop area with its skills negated for the turn. So that's just awesome, because if you have cards in your drop area that were put there because you comboed or whatever, they're there for whatever reason, you're able to combo with them from your drop. So the first of the battle card or extra cards that we're running is going to be 4-star ball, Parasitic Darkness. It's 0 drop. This card gains Dark Dragon Ball in all areas. Activate battle, choose one of your cards and it gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. Activate main. If your opponent has 2 or more energy and you choose one mono green Turles card with an energy cost of 3 or 4 and place this card under it, choose up to 1 green Turles Sinnoh card with an energy cost of 4 in your deck or hand. Play it on top of the chosen card in active mode, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So that's going to make it so you can search out your Turles Dark Parasite and play it on top of either your Turles Cosmic Rogue or your Turles Crusher Core Commander. You're probably going to want to do it on the Turles Crusher Core Commander. That way you can have the Turles Cosmic Rogue out there for extra critical, so you can use the Fruit of the Tree of Might for more and more damage. Next up, and we're running 4 copies of that card. Next up, we're running 4 copies of Full Power Energy, pretty basic counterattack. You negate the attack, then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 1 or less and KO it. Super basic, super simple. Just needed something to be able to bounce attacks off of myself without having to use my blockers and potentially lose some of my attack chain. Next, we're running 3 Kill Drivers. It's got an activate battle. If your leader is a Turles Crusher Core card, you flip up to 1 card in your opponent's life face up. Choose up to 1 leader card, one of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Then draw 1 card. or then choose once. Excuse me. You can either draw one card, or if it's your turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost greater than the current energy and KO it. So that's really helpful against Union Fusion, against Evolution, anything that allows them to get their big boss monsters out there before they're able to actually pay the hefty energy cost that they have attached to them. So we're running 3 of those kill drivers, and then our final extra card is going to be Blue Impulse. It's a 2-drop, but if your leader card is green and you have a green Unison in play, it becomes a 1-drop, and it's got an activate main that if you played, or if your opponent played a battle card this turn, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and KO them. So just anytime you can wipe your opponent's board, that's always going to be something that is just super powerful, and you're always going to want to have that option when it's available to you. Alright, well, if you like this deck profile, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and you can be looking forward to more content. Till then, stay nerdy.